All right, you guys, podcast time. We got the equipment and the perfect business plan. Give our show away for free and tell no one how to find it. Ready?
Welcome to another episode of the Brand X podcast. Joe is over there already fucking the show up.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Go to Wawa, yell at mother and son, throw the whole game off.
Throwing people. Just this last week, I was screaming at people. Well, I was thinking about screaming at people. Joe actually, he come down in such a huff today that I thought something like, I thought he stubbed his toe.
Yeah, I'm a little angry. Well, I was.
Come and stop it.
I was getting there. Got to kind of explain what's going on here. I mean, there's noise in the background and all that other stuff. I didn't even introduce myself. This is the Brand X podcast. I am John. Alongside me is my co-host Deuce.
Come and stop, bitches.
His brother Joe.
Tally ho.
And we are back for episode number 58. It's been a very busy podcasting week for me. I was actually a guest on 2 shows. I was a guest on the Who's Right podcast. Mm-hmm. I was also a guest on Ped and Meller. Ped and Meller's out already.
Yeah, I was listening on the way in.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet. How bad was it?
Oh, you suck. No. I think I'm halfway through it.
You know, it's when you go into somebody else's show and they have a flow and you're like the third wheel, you don't know when to jump in, you know, and you don't want to make the show all about you. I don't want to, make it all about me.
Who are you?
Exactly.
And what have you done with John?
No, but seriously, you just don't want to. I don't want to come in there and like take over the place.
I left off where you sang the Chili Affair song.
How did that sound? Because it was horrible. Here's the problem with the Chili Affair thing. They would start the music, and I couldn't tell when it was going to shut off, and they couldn't hear me.
It was pretty close.
And they couldn't hear me sing. And we were doing it over Skype, so
right.
It was their music, and it was me. Anyhow.
Cross Atlantic.
That's true. So I had a great time with those guys. Let's talk about
John.
Who's Right? The Who's Right podcast.
Oh, okay.
Because they say to me, hey, do you want to go on the show tonight? And I'm like, okay. He goes, can you be ready in 3 hours? I said, absolutely. 5 minutes later, he says, can you be ready in 30 minutes? I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I'm ready in 30 minutes. So I come downstairs. I get everything fired up, get ready to go. They record on cast like we did. So I was ready to go. They give me a link. I jump in. I'm like, okay, what are we talking about? They're like, I don't know. They do no show prep.
Oh, like us.
What do you mean like us? Are you kidding me?
The show prep consists of me walking down those stairs, turning on the lights.
Your show prep.
Yeah.
Your show prep does that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not the show prep.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we're pulling stories all week. You put stories in there. I put stories. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
They don't have topics, though. They're just, so what happens is you just sit there until something pops into your mind, and then you start talking about it. And then there's that awkward pause. Like if you were in a bar sitting there and you run out of something to say, you kind of take a drink of your beer, look at the TV. It's just like that awkwardness. And you know me, I got to fill up the dead air. I can't let it feels like it's radio.
With the clock's running on you.
Yeah, exactly. So finally, dude, I'm not going to lie. The raw recording was 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, they would not say anything. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and not say a fucking word until one of those guys say something. And I'm sitting there. I'm like.
So you're like the 3 frogs in the Budweiser commercial?
I'm telling you, it was so uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable. But I got to tell you, we did some pretty funny stuff. And they got me, again, they, for some reason, their goal in life is for me to do a homosexual act. I don't know what that's all about. I don't have a clue.
Like you. You're frisky.
I guess. I don't know. But anyhow, I did. I had a great time. Loved the show. He says, you know what you guys should do is just turn on the mics and go. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. And then I don't know if they're bullshitting me about their download numbers, but they told me what their download numbers was. I wanted to just shut off the mic, get in my truck, drive to a bridge, and jump off. Because I don't know what's going on, but they have way more numbers, way more downloads than we are. I don't know what we have to do. I really don't. I think we're putting out funny stuff. I don't know.
Stop Facebooking Live so much.
Maybe. I don't think that's it. I don't know. Maybe. Well, here's the thing. I want to try to bring people over that don't know anything about podcasting. And I still think.
You got to learn.
I don't know anything about podcasting.
Right. If we waited for Joe to listen and not put it on Facebook or anything like that, I don't know if he would be able to do it. Well, I mean, he listened before. How did you listen? How do you listen, come to think of it?
I'd go on the internet and listen. I'd go to.
You'd go to the website?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Forgot about that? Or
maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I don't know. So anyhow, there was a dust up. I guess it's the past week. And I really wasn't. Well, I was a part of it, but I wasn't the focus of it. I wasn't the focus of it. Our buddies Rob and Slim got into like a Twitter fight war with a guy named Jay Sandlin. And I don't know if Rob and Slim are back on Twitter yet. Like, he was off for days. Like, remember I got a 24-hour timeout?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was off for days. Like,
Twitter jail?
He's in Twitter jail. He might be out. I don't know. But what happened
I haven't noticed. I don't think he is. I was on the Twitter just before I got off work.
Yeah, usually you can see him. He's very active on Twitter.
Yeah, and I didn't notice anything.
So, well, you know how it gets where, he kind of, like when we went up against Tom and Steve, like they just rolled over like a bitch. I mean, they didn't have anything. They didn't have anybody to come back with. This guy, Jay, he had peoples.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had soldiers. So it started where they started like giving bad reviews, 1-star reviews on iTunes. And then they started going to YouTube.
Well, what triggered it? That's the reviews, or was there?
I am not 100% sure. I think it was something where, I don't know, Jay and Rob didn't get along, or Rob felt slighted by Jay. And then there was words said, and then next thing you know, it was on. It was a full-on war. And, I come into the thing, and it's like, it's in the middle. It's shock and awe, and their people are going after Rob and Slim. People are going after everybody else. And at that point, I realized that there's really not going to be any winner here, and they had people, and, like you always say, nothing to do, all day to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody made up this anal butt plug, and they put Jay's face on it. So that got out on Twitter. But the big thing was, I think, it was a misunderstanding. Rob sent a private message to Jay, and he misspelled a word. He said, let me see if I could pull this up here real quick.
Yeah. Because
in all my testing today, because I was trying to test to make sure our sound was better on Facebook,
mm-hmm.
I forgot to pull up Trello. And that's always a big help. So here it is here. So what he said was, and he sent this as a private message to Jay, but all these naggers with 13 reviews will feel it. And Jay, he misspelled the word nagger.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I see where this is going.
Predictive text fails again?
Well, I think. And so what happened was then Jay took that screenshot, and what he did was he even crossed out the letter like he was correcting it, or like he was kind of making it so it didn't say naggers.
Mm-hmm.
And even the correction where he scribbled it in makes it look like an I. So people started losing their minds.
Oh.
And here's my thought is I understand that everybody gets upset with that word. And, my thing is I don't get excited about words. I don't get upset about words. Words are words. In other words, I think that if you use a word like that, it doesn't make you a racist. Racist acts make you a racist, or racist thoughts make you a racist. Just saying the word doesn't make you a racist. That's my thoughts. Anyhow, who am I? So everything started to get tuned up, and people are going back and forth, and now they won't let it go. They're saying,
they got hooks in it now.
They got hooks, and they're saying, he said the N-word, and I'm like, all right with the N-word, because as soon as you say the N-word, you're making everybody else think of a bad word, not nagger, the other one.
Like that South Park.
Exactly. So with that, there was a lot of volleys back and forth. And then as soon as it would calm down, somebody would start up again. And it wasn't even Jay and Rob. Like, they were over this. They wanted it to end. But the minions would be in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it had all calmed down. Could love this. It had all calmed down. And I got into a little bit of a dust up with this guy. I forget his name. I think his name was the Comics Book Kid on Twitter. A lot of this stuff has all been taken down, or I would have had screenshots of it. It's all been taken down. Mm-hmm. And he says, well, he said something about him using the nagger word, using nagger. And I said, listen, let it go. All right. It's just a word. It's no big deal. He says, well, we're never going to let that go. Here we got another social justice warrior.
Oh, great. Yeah.
All right. So with that, Luke Johnson wakes up and comes over the top and he tweets this out. Hey, comic book, whatever his name is, knock it off. You're starting to sound like a nagger. And Luke misspelled the word too.
Jesus Christ.
It's got to be the predictive.
Yeah, it must be that autocorrect.
Yeah, which I don't like.
I don't like it
either.
Yeah.
As last night, I was in a heated debate with you and Jerry and you over.
Well, not so much me. I was
not as
logical.
You were, of course. We all were. All right. So anyhow, and I forget. I tried to type this one word out, and hang.
You were trying to say you guys can gang up on me.
And it kept coming up, hang.
You can hang up on me like we're all on a conference call. Hang up on that bastard.
Hang up on John.
And then finally Jerry types in, gang. And I'm like, I know.
All in caps.
Yeah.
All in caps.
So, that.
And it's just like the movies. You hear it in Jerry's voice.
Yes. Yeah, I can. I can hear it in his voice. So my thing is that I think there was a big giant dust up. But, this whole social media thing can really.
Yeah, that's why I lay low like a cat that shit on the rug.
Oh, I know you do. And I understand that.
Trying to.
And there was, like today when we were going to talk about this subject, I had pulled clips. And I'm like, oh, my God, I could be so funny if I was allowed to use this. Or I'm so funny if I was allowed to use that. But I don't want to upset people because they put more into words than I do.
You don't want to put yourself in that space anyway.
Listen, and I think you guys know me. I'm for equal. I believe everybody's equal, whether what race you are, what religion you are, what's the other one?
Creed, race,
that's religion,
and politics.
Sexual preference.
You got to put politics in there.
All right, and politics. Yeah, everybody, we might not agree. Okay, that's fine. But I believe everybody is equal. And I try to treat everybody equally. I don't try to make that an issue, whether it's race, religion, sexual preference, or everything. I think I'm a live and let live kind of guy. But then again, words don't upset me because I grew up in the late 60s, early 70s, and there was no political correctness. And if you showed any weakness, like it bothered you, they'd pile on. Mm-hmm. So now they all run, ooh, look what he said. And that's not bad enough. They want to kill you. Like they want you fired. They want you buried.
What?
And my thing is that, if you say something, it shouldn't be a death sentence. It shouldn't be a death sentence. No. So, hey, listen, Rob, we're with you.
Yeah.
We're backing you. We're hanging in there with you, buddy. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. This too
shall pass.
Exactly. How was your weeks?
Oh, me?
Well, let Joe start. He's got a vent. So.
Yeah, come on, Joe.
I had a little incident coming in. And
mere minutes before he walked in the door. What's that Wawa, like 100 yards away from you?
Yeah, it was at the Wawa right up the street. I had a little incident.
Hold on 1 second. Let me start the recording.
You weren't recording.
No. But that's okay.
We're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook. So the first 16 minutes of the audio I can grab off.
And you say we shouldn't go Facebook Live.
I'll tell you what, if we didn't go Facebook Live, my head would be soft and mushy from pounding it against the wall because of the stupid shit that I do.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, Joe.
Well, I screwed up the beginning of the show because I'm a little bit,
I don't understand why I can't put the thing is flashing at me like push the button, moron. It's not recording. Push the button. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, okay. As you know, there's a Wawa only for our listeners. There's a Wawa about 200 yards away from here. And I stopped in here to get my bottled water. I always comment on where the hell is our country headed? Where the hell is society going and all that? Today was a perfect example. I'm in there, and there's her mother in there with her child. Kid's about, I'm going to say maybe 9, 10 years old. He's a little impetuous twerp. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Mom, give me money. I want this and that. No, honey. No. Mom, come on. I want to get that. Right? He's doing all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just getting my bottled water. I get it. I give the guy money and everything. As we know in Wawa, they have the little change dispenser that spits out your change, and they give you bills.
Yes.
Spits out the change. This kid walks right up, grabs the money, and walks away. Right? I do a double take. Whoa, kid, what are you doing? What? He's like, what? You mean what? That's my money. It's only change. I don't give a damn. It's my money. What the hell are you doing? You're taking, and
it's
the thing that's,
you know what? Yeah, you're right. It's only change. It's my change.
It's my change, and I didn't give it to you.
Right.
So now, at no moment is the mother like interceding on this. She's just kind of like, like, what's the big deal? It's like, let's give it over here. I said, what are you doing? So he gives me the money. I'm like looking at her, and she goes, well, what were you going to do with the money anyway? That's not the fucking point. You don't take somebody's money. And then I went I went into his mode, and I went, what are you, raising a Democrat?
Oh.
Well, that got kind of like, that was frowned upon by some of the other customers. Apparently, this is I was like, what the hell is this shit?
Truth in lending clause, Deuce would have said liberal.
Oh, okay.
He just walks up and just grabs it, and he goes right for the candy rack to grab what he wanted.
Yeah. Why is it that I have to pay for your kids? Why is it okay for your kid to steal from me? So because you don't want to give him money.
I couldn't believe it. And now she's giving me this. Yeah. I'm sitting there like, I want to put my foot up the kid's ass because to me that kid's going to grow up. He's going to be
like 11.
He's like 9, 10.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he's ruined.
Right.
And because the mother's taken up for him, I see where he gets it from.
Exactly.
So now, I got to remember he's just a kid, but I also got to remember he's damaged goods for life because he's got that in his head now. Oh, money. Let me just help myself to this.
I don't know about that because someday he'll try that with somebody around his own age.
Well, it is self-correcting behavior. Sooner or later, he's going to do that to somebody. It's like somebody who goes around saying the N-word.
Right.
Sooner or later, he's going to get his ass kicked.
Right.
But now you walk out, now I come in here and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Oh, I feel like Jesus Christ almighty. It's like starting, I'm like in the car, ranting and everything. I said, where the hell are these people coming from that they do this? So.
It's psychotic.
So that's why I came in here in such a huff, and I screwed up our intro, our opening credits.
Pissed.
Right.
Oh.
He's so angry he had to. He had to.
Joe, listen, if you're going to fight with people when you're on your way in over here, maybe you ought to come in another 5 minutes early, kind of so you have a little downtime. You can do some.
I always try to do that. I really do. I try to get here early. In fact, I left at.
How hard are you trying?
Very hard.
You always get here at 7:28.
I left at 6:30. I had to stop, get gas, and then you get all mixed up on 42, and that doesn't help your mood any.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, I wouldn't even come in that way. I would take the back roads.
So, well, I mean, listen, I can understand. I would have done the same thing. I would have said, "Give me the money," and then I would have said to the mother, "Is this how you teach your kid? You teach your kid that he could just go over and steal?"
She had an answer.
What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
I was going to put it in my pocket because I earned it. Why don't you take the money out of your pocket and give it to your little jerk off kid?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about a ragamuffin kid where he looks like he's like
He got money.
We're talking a soccer mom with the kids. His kids got all the sneakers. He looks he's
all the accoutrements
of the soccer mom kind of family. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
So the problem is that kids, the parents don't beat their children anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
He needed a smack. Can you imagine if we did that in front of my
mother?
If
we did
holy
that,
shit.
My dad would have took
and
the
make
bell
us
off.
apologize.
And we would have apologized, and we would have got a whooping for taking money. Like that would have been
publicly.
Because back in the day, your children were it was a reflection on you, how your children behaved. Like you go in, I was listening to Ped and Meller, and they're always talking about how the kid, Meller's like, I'm not taking my kids back to a diner or a restaurant until they're like 11 years old because they act a fool. They're running around. They're under the table.
You're not allowed to.
And you're not. So when we were, listen, nobody was worse behaved as a child than I was. Okay. But what happened was when I was young, and I'm probably talking maybe 2 or 3, and I did this in a restaurant, I was taken outside. My dad took his belt off and put a whooping on me. And here's, at 2 years old, is it really hurting you? No. But what they did was they realized, you as a child realized they were capable.
Yeah.
And if you did that again, you were going to get an ass whooping. So from then, as long as you knew that they were capable, all they had to do was shoot you a look.
Yeah. That was my mother, boy.
Right.
She could make Clint Eastwood flinch with her look, Ugh.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. And you don't have to beat your kids all the time. Just when they're young, 2 or 3, just give them one good
I'm
ass
sorry,
whooping.
son, but it's time.
Well, it's 8:37. Come here, you.
Like
Usually
clockwork.
The look. Because
Yeah.
my father
My mom
could give you a look. And then, and if not, they would take you back home, give you a little bit more of a education.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was beat with everything that had a handle, hairbrush, Board of Education. They used to have those paddles that you
Board of Education.
They had to paddle with the ball.
Yeah.
And if my mom would go out and buy
What,
them.
the paddle ball?
Yeah. My mom would go out and buy them and snap the thing off.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And she would use that to whoop your ass with. We got
damn.
beat all the time.
Yeah.
And I just think.
I like how my mom used to walk around like locked and loaded, just a belt around
She had the
neck.
belt around her neck
Yeah,
sometimes.
on the
my mom-
phone.
Okay,
Like,
who wants some?
My mom had the belt around the neck too, so she could get to it quickly.
yeah.
But,
Never
like I
had to
said,
take
this
anything
is-
Today,
off.
Yeah.
the kids are just, they do what they want. Oh, we can't say anything to them. That's why there's such problems in school.
That's why your kid's an asshole.
That's
what
right.
you gotta
He's
tell
an
him.
asshole.
He's an asshole. Yeah, but I mean,
Yo, Ralph, that guy's right there. Oh.
it's like I said, this incident's only about a half hour old, so I'm still a little keyed up from it. And that's
Okay.
why I came in fucking
understand.
everything up. It's like,
I got you.
yes, but ladies and gentlemen, please beat your children. It's
Yes.
not healthy for them to grow up like completely undisciplined, and especially when they take another guy's money, because when they get older
How
and they
much change was it? Like 11 cents?
No, it was like about 85 cents.
Oh.
Because it was like about $1.15 or whatever that I gave.
Water is that much now? Wow.
I don't know. No, it wasn't wood. I bought a chapstick too. Or I don't know. But
Okay.
it's just the principle that when this kid grows up and he tries to take money as an adult, he's not just going to get yelled at. He's probably going to get shot.
Well, he might actually get better at it.
Yeah.
Those guys that are at the bar and you have your money on the bar.
Well, the days of an outlaw are always numbered. Yeah, we know about those guys.
And those guys will always come over, try to they'll grab a pinky out there. And
I had a
slip 10.
barmaid herself try to steal money from me, and we caught her. Me and my buddy Glenn. By the way, my buddy Glenn, he's listening tonight. So
Hey, there you go, Glenn. How's it going, Glenn?
Glenn. We got cousin Eddie. We got my friend Alice.
Well, Eddie says that he's going to listen tomorrow at work or something.
Yeah.
He says he's excited to listen tomorrow at work. See,
my friend Christina Ritz is on. Ooh, all righty. And she's talking about they'll snap you with a towel. Okay.
she wants to
this-
snap you with a towel?
Yeah. She said belt, snap you with a towel.
Oh,
She's
okay.
talking about,
Right.
discipline.
John Perth right up.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, right. But
Why wouldn't I?
parents, please knock the shit out of your kids. It's really not healthy for them to.
Yeah. Every once in a while, they got to know that you'll give them a backhand.
Yeah. That's it.
That's all. Doesn't take much to do that.
Little beat never hurt anybody.
That's true.
How you holding up in this heat?
I'm fine because I don't go out in it.
Tuesday, I had to get a new HVAC put in at the Empire. New furnace, central air. And of course, it was like 1,000,000 degrees.
Of course it is.
We're like, I think the whole country's in the middle of a heat wave, but it was about 100 degrees that day. And the humidity naturally in Jersey is always so thick you can cut it with a knife. So my buddy who did the installation, 2 of his guys called out. So now he's got to install this in by himself. And all I could do, I don't know anything about this stuff. I could help him carry a thing in and clean the debris out as, he's cutting the old ductwork out and everything. But we finally get it all set and we fire it up. Well, now we're closing the windows and I see the next door neighbor and he's like looking over the fence. Now I just met this guy like a month ago and he seemed like a pretty nice guy. Oh, hi, how you doing? Talking to him and everything. Well, there was a pre-existing air conditioner there. Either it got stolen or it broke and the previous owner shit canned it. I don't know. And there was 2 units there. There was only one there when I bought the place. So we got this thing fired up. Well, this guy gets all pissed off. He's angry. I surmise he didn't even recognize me. That's how angry he was. Like, I had spent like an hour rapping with the dude a month ago. They didn't even recognize me. Do you have permits? Screaming, yelling. Well, yeah, we got permits. I mean, you really don't need to get them because we're replacing what was existing. It's like, oh, these things are loud. He's standing next to it. The new air conditioner compressors are so quiet. He had no idea it was even on.
Really?
And like Eric the Bold, he's like, well, sir, that thing's running right now. You could barely even hear it. And then just then the old one that was already there since I bought the place, that turned on. That was louder, but not by much. He says, I don't know what you're upset about. We surmise from the context of his screaming that either he put a new HVAC in and the town may have given him a hard time about it or whatever. I don't know. Or it sounds more than likely he tried to put one in without a permit.
And got caught.
Yeah.
And he didn't see any the permits or anything like that. But again, we didn't need it, But I was like really like shocked because like a month ago, this guy seemed pretty nice. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to take that stump out. You can straighten your fence out and, put that'll be great. Wonderful.
Okay. Well,
don't put an air conditioner. See, that's another thing about having neighbors.
He's an asshole.
He's an asshole too.
Always up in your business. You can't get by, everything. They're always looking over the fence. There's always out the window. I had when I was living in Mullica Hill, we had two people next to us, a husband and wife, no children. And the freakiest people. I mean, they would just sit there and
the Addams family
constantly look over to see what you're doing. The guy was like one of those lawn doctors. He was always out cutting the lawn, trimming the lawn, putting stuff. I mean, it's all he did was yard work.
That was
I think it was to get away from the wife, to be quite honest with you. He just wanted to get outside. So and whenever they went by your house, they were staring at the house. Like you could see them go by and they're looking right up at to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, I've drive by their house 100 times. Never once do I look to see. Never once do I care. Mm-hmm. I don't care what they're doing, but they got to know. They want to know everything about
Budinskis.
And about in the neighborhood. You can't go by their windows without seeing a face sticking out.
I had a long guy who
like a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah,
he called the cops on me when I first moved in Lindenwold. We were in a drought, 1999. There was water restrictions. I had a pool. You're allowed to top off your pool. You have to, because mosquitoes, all that. So the guy across the street, down the street, he was one of them lawn guys. He wasn't allowed to water his lawn. His lawn's turning brown. So I topped off my pool. The cops show up. Yeah, what's up? What's the problem? I said, we got a report that you filled up your pool. No, I didn't fill up the pool. I topped it. Well, one of the neighbors said you filled it up. I said, well, he's incorrect. Who was the neighbor? Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. Well,
what are we going to do now, officer? How are you going to find out?
Yeah, right.
How are you going to tell whether I filled it up or topped it off?
I said, look, if I filled this thing, I said, when did he call? He said he called about 2 hours ago. I said, you think I filled this pool up in 2 hours? I said, that's a hell of a friggin' hose I got, isn't it?
Yeah, there are 3 fire trucks out there.
Right.
Dumping that water.
So, he said, yeah, I know, but I have to check it out anyway.
Right.
Said,
God forbid.
And I knew it was this guy because his brass was turning brown. He's one of them blustery guys with the bandana on, tattoos,
That's what he was waiting for.
Yeah.
No rain.
No rain for you.
No rain for you. But, but that was, someone made something just got to, what are you doing? What's he up to? We got to see this. We got to take a look at this. This is no good.
Okay. I got you.
You got me?
Okay. I got you. That's what happened today here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could hear it.
I was at work.
Well, you really got it.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that happens. I don't know what it is about here, but like these big giant thunderstorms, like a line of them come up. And as soon as they get to my house, they go left and right. And they go
split up
basically right around this house. It's amazing. I've seen it happen several times. Not every time, a lot more than.
So you're a weather wizard.
I must be. I don't know why it is, but today I was, doing things for the show, making up sounds and pulling video, audio and stuff like that. Making shit up. And I'm like, okay, so, and I got the washer and the dryer going, so I got clothes. I go upstairs. I take the clothes upstairs. I said, let me jump in the shower. And with that, the biggest clap of thunder, these guys over this fire department over across the street here, that's all they do all day long. Just run up and down the street.
And I'm
With the sirens on.
yeah, no, I'm not playing any sound effects.
Right. It's funny. You can't even hear that. Like, I think the compressor limiter gate, we can hear it outside of our headphones, but they can't hear it
Oh, okay.
over the podcast.
Okay. Well, for our listeners, there's a fire
It
engine
didn't
going
bleed. I'm
by.
surprised that didn't bleed over.
Yeah, the fire truck just went outside about, I don't know.
We might
40
as well
miles
just
an hour.
do this outside. Like seems like every time we're here, the cops are rolling out, the paramedics are jumping into action. So.
Oh, yeah. It's happening in town.
Did you ever
over there.
notice whenever the cops sirens go by, John kind of tenses up?
Yeah, well, he
Why
hates
is
cops.
that?
I don't hate cops. Stop saying that. It's a false narrative. It's ridiculous.
Oh boy, that's funny.
Firemen, on the other hand. All right. Why don't we listen? We're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll do some news.
Hush Your Face is coming straight to your ears. A podcast network that's changing gears, bringing fresh, funky pods with a fresh, funky beat. A family of pods that are bringing the heat. There ain't no stopping us. Keep coming back to us, sick-ass pods that'll make you hush. www. Hush Your Face. www. Hush Your Face. www. HushYourFace.com.
Bestiality brothels are spreading through Germany as campaigner claims abuse, sex with animals as a lifestyle choice. Deuce predicted this.
That's what I do.
He said, if you let those gays get married, the next thing you know, there'll be goat fucking going on. They'll want to marry their German Shepherd.
Yeah.
A bestiality brothel. Okay,
That's right.
Oh Jesus!
Because, you can't pick up your own dog. You have to feed it and clean up after. Why do that?
You got to pay the dog now.
Right now, you got to go pay somebody.
Is this for real?
This is for real.
Okay. I see it's the Daily Mail, so.
Bestiality brothels are spreading through Germany faster than ever, thanks to a law that makes animal porn illegal, but sex with animals legal.
Go for it.
Oh God!
Madeline Martin said that the current laws are not protecting animals from predatory zoophilias. Is that the way? Is that zoophiles? You can be pedophile, zoophile?
What?
Zoophiles?
Oh Jesus!
I don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An audio file is a zoo file.
I guess.
Oh God!
Who are increasingly able to turn to bestiality as a lifestyle choice. She highlighted one case where the farmer in southwest Germany notified his once friendly flock of sheep were beginning to shy away.
Once friendly.
They're a little apprehensive now.
Yeah.
You know?
Now they're shying away from human contact.
Yeah.
Wonder
Guy's
why.
gonna come at me with his dick out.
So he rigged up a closed-circuit TV camera in the rafters of the barn, only to discover that multiple men were sneaking in during the night and sexually abusing his beloved livestock.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, is this ridiculous?
Oh. What? No bed springs?
Hey, hey!
Oh.
I mean, that's quite a little brothel the guy's got going on
Oh
over
my
there.
God, that's sick. Now, just out of curiosity,
Yes.
as we know, the demographics of Germany are changing, reflecting more of the, shall we say, the Middle Eastern influx.
You're saying that
Jihadis?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. They're refugees.
Well,
the refugee.
whose culture reportedly has no compunctions.
Hey, we're just refugees.
Oh, boy.
Wow, Tom Petty, huh?
Yeah.
Like you guys going to get that reference, huh? It's like Bob Dylan and his voices are pretty interchangeable.
I think they are, really.
Yeah.
It's probably the only guy I actually can sing like Bob Dylan and Tom Petty.
So you mean not at all?
Exactly. So now what they're trying to do is they're trying to pass a law now.
Sugar ball.
Exactly. They're debating changes to the National Animal Protection Code with the Agricultural Committee, pledging fines up to 20,000 euros for the first offense.
I think that's pounds. That's
4 years.
Pounds. 20,000 pounds.
In Germany?
Well, they're using the pound symbol here because this story is from the United, the UK Mail.
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad that you think that added to the story?
Yes, I do.
Do you really? Okay. Just checking.
Well, I don't want you going out there spreading false news. Donald Trump will be all over your shit. You'll be in a Twitter war with him.
Oh, don't even get me started on those. That whole
That
thing
would
today.
be like the ultimate match. The ultimate, John versus Donald Trump on Twitter. It would go for days. Just
Not really.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Although I did tweet at him. What did he say today that I actually tweeted back at him for? I forget what it was. I got to stay off social media.
Now he's going. Donald Trump's going to be calling the names.
Yeah, the NSA is going to be.
Yeah, and no, I never called him a name. I think I just said.
But he'll be calling you names.
Oh well, that's
that
okay.
John Buchanan. He's dumb as a rock. Or he'll be saying something.
He's very sad, very bad guy, bad sad man.
He's a bad man.
I don't even know if I don't even know if he'd be wrong. Bestiality dropped off the statute books as a crime in 1969.
Wow.
So they've been fucking goats over there for quite some time.
Well, I guess they probably figured at that point that people knew better. But then, like Joe, I think Joe's kind of hit the nail on the head with the new influx of new
well, you say
residents.
that, but they even have erotic zoos, which people can visit to abuse animals ranging from llamas to goats.
Well, when you're tired of that goat, you always get that llama for something different.
Spit on me. Spit on me. Spit on me.
All these damn goats. I'm going to go for some strange here. These goats are just tiring me out. Let me try a llama for a change.
Right. Hold on.
God.
Because you can't get it. Listen, how ugly do the women in Germany have to be if they're actually having erotic petting zoos?
They're not. I think German women are
Probably not
very,
that they're ugly. I think these guys are just
These guys are
twisted.
Well, no.
It's kind of like a guy thing.
Really?
Yeah, guys are basically retarded.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I beg
So
to
what
differ.
you're saying is there's the guys, most of the guys in Germany are unfuckable.
No. What I'm saying is you never hear stories of women doing this shit.
What, having sex with animals?
No, going to
do
a
it.
petting zoo,
Listen,
no.
sneaking into a guy's farm in the middle of the night.
Maybe every once in a while there's a peanut butter incident with the dog. You know what I'm saying? Or, a little fluffer nutter. Yeah, that can happen. Lonely
That's another
night.
thing. I think it's a guy-only thing on a different topic is mail-order brides. I've never seen any mail-order groom services. Not that I'm looking, but have you ever heard like a woman show up with a Filipino husband and like, I bought this guy?
No.
It's
Because-
just, that's like a guy
Because
thing.
they don't want the Filipino husbands. They want guys that have more, the
Well,
cash.
they could get the Ukrainian husband because you
But
got
still-
the Ukrainian mail-order brides.
Yeah, but the thing about it is you need a successful guy over here. And basically, a woman's not going to buy a successful guy. Guys are not buying
No.
successful women.
No,
They're buying.
what about
like,
a successful woman buying a dude?
That's
what I'm saying. You don't hear women doing that shit.
Of course not, because
That's
they're
because guys are sick.
They're upselling.
Well, see, women are.
They have a twat.
Women
when you
do-
have a twat, you don't have to buy.
Yeah, but no.
It comes to you.
I think you can get a woman to do anything as long as you pay her. All right?
That's true. That might
If
also
there's
go for
money
men
in
too.
it, well, I think if there's money in it, women will do it. I think men.
Maybe.
No, okay. Look. Let's
Listen,
say
everybody has a price.
let's say you have a man and a
for
woman,
everything.
and you want one or both of them to have sex.
I
with
know
a
the fat
horse.
cafeteria woman, that conversation broke out and it started out at $1 million.
So you're saying that you were sitting at the lunch table.
Well, we were in the break room. And
Okay.
And
At
we were,
work.
And we were discussing the fat cafeteria
Clearly.
woman with a mustache.
Okay.
So-
And how much would it cost?
Well,
how much would you have to be paid?
The ironic thing about it, it started high at about $1 million.
Right.
And then, like, for some weird reason, the price got driven down.
Oh, well,
it got to the point. Like, one guy said, like, $10,000. How long would it take to get her off? Look at her.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's a guy would bang a ugly broad for about 10 grand. I honestly think he'd do it for $1,000.
I think some guys would do it for free.
Yeah, I know guys who have no, I don't do it.
Yeah, there's guys that I know, age and body type, there's no barrier.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying that, okay, you're talking about, guys or women trying to buy men. All right, here you got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mm-hmm. He gets in all that trouble. The guy's, he's untouchable. He gets in trouble for banging the maid, and he gets the maid pregnant. All right.
And had a child out of wedlock. And was diverting money from his family to support his other family. Right. You're just kind of glossing over some major things.
Well, I'm saying is that look at her.
What's the big deal?
She didn't have to go and buy a guy. She got the governor of the state of California.
But what I'm saying is because I know quite a few guys in my lifetime that have gotten the Filipino or the Ukrainian mail order bride. But you never hear women doing that.
No.
Yeah, he's right.
They don't need it. I told you they're going to.
Like you go on a website, it's like hundreds and hundreds of dudes.
But
pictures.
Women aren't going to support the men. Mm-hmm. Where the guy that goes out and buys the Filipino bride.
I'm just thinking guys are sick.
She's going to be taking care of the house and everything. He has to provide all the money, all that. Okay.
So you can't have a super successful woman that might be short on the looks, but she has lots of cash doing that.
I don't see it.
Most of those guys that do that are kind of short on the looks, or they're socially awkward, or
very
something.
socially awkward. Yeah. All right. So I have a story.
I do happen in that. Oh, go ahead. Tell your story.
I have a story. I got to be careful how I tell this.
No, just blurt the name out like you do any other fucking time. What the hell?
Yeah.
Say it. There was a guy I worked with when I was in the elevator business, and
we'll call him Chuck.
Let's call him Chuck. So Chuck was very socially awkward. You could tell he was kind of socially awkward. And he was always talking about his wife. And his wife was a Philippine. He brought her over from the Philippines, and they got married. And one day I was over, and we had to go around. We had to go around together. We traveled together from place to place. And we start talking, and he starts talking about his wife and stuff like that. And then he drops the bomb that he paid to have her come over and everything. And I said to him, how much does something like that cost? $30,000. Mm-hmm. $30,000 to bring her over here.
Yeah, sometimes they go back.
Oh, it's a sham.
Yeah, it's kind of like for some reason, I might have the state wrong, but I think like in Rhode Island, there's like this huge colony of runaway Filipino brides or something.
Yeah.
They get here and they put in so many years of,
Well, they're just trying to get here.
Yeah. And they found some fool to marry them and bring them over.
Right.
And then they split with the kids.
Right.
And if they go back to the Philippines, you'll never see those kids again.
Yeah, but I think, and they don't want to go back. Well, I guess they want to get lost here in the United States. In other words, they move away, but they stay here in the United States because they have kids.
Did that happen to Chuck?
They have those. No, they've been married for about 10 years.
Yeah, he got to keep her.
Yeah. So he got to keep her. And he's like,
he has a shock collar on her.
Does he tie her to a chair?
The invisible fence.
The invisible fence and shock collar. All right, I'm going to work. Put your collar on. Okay. Well, what time you'll be home? I'll make sure I have soup for you.
Does he have one of those wells dug in his basement?
It puts the lotion on.
Whenever it's told. Yes. So anyhow, I think that, this whole bestiality thing.
They'll be marrying him in Germany soon.
They got to get a hold of that over there. I mean,
they got to.
Now that somebody hears this podcast, next thing you know, they start looking up Germany.
Yeah.
Sex, animal sex.
Now we're enablers.
Yeah, we're
guys will be chartering.
I didn't know you could go over there.
Honey, I'd like to bang a llama.
So let's tell you.
No guy says, honey, I would like to bang a llama. There's a guy says, I haven't banged anything in a long time.
Maybe the guy has a sheep named Honey.
Honey, I'd like to bang a llama. Yeah, go do it. I need a night off.
My udders are killing me.
My udders are killing me.
No, my feeling is you just got to do away with it.
Sure about the cow that jumped over the barbed wire fence?
I heard about the cat that jumped over the moon.
No.
Utter destruction.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Man marries video game cartoon character. 2 for 2. Deuces, 2 for 2.
He's 2 for 2.
Yeah, last week I was a fucking idiot.
That's why I pulled these.
Yeah, this week I'm a genius.
So,
Every dog has his day.
right. All right, I'm going to butcher this name.
Uh-oh. So you want me to help you out?
I'm going to go Nene Anegasaki.
That's pretty good. That's what I was going to go
Is a witty, doe-eyed beauty. She looks particularly perky in sexy skirts, doesn't pick fights, and is always at one Tokyo man's beck and call. That's why the 27-year-old decided to marry her.
Jesus.
The only complication, she's a video game character in the Nintendo DS game called Love Plus.
Love Plus, baby. Ooh.
Still, that didn't stop Sal 9000. The only name the groom would use. No shit.
Yeah.
Why would
Yeah.
Sadly, that means that there's 8,999 other Sals, so he had to settle for that one.
the Sal 9000? So Sal 9000.
Like an email address.
He married Nene in a ceremony witnessed live by thousands on the web. When asked if Nene was his dream woman, Sal replied, yes, she is. Her character changes to my liking. As we talk and travel to different places, Japan's internet community has witnessed relationships and marriages to avatars. Though it has typically been within the confines of the virtual world, last month, Sal decided to be the first human to avatar union. Cladded in a white tux, Sal married Nene in front of some friends, the web users, and a guy who probably got paid a lot of money.
Now, how many of her friends showed up?
That's a good question. Were her mother and father there?
Yeah. Who gave away the bride?
Did he ask her for permission? The father for permission?
Is this his way of getting into the video game?
I don't know. But it's the stupidest thing you've ever seen because there's this guy and he's got that stupid thing on that you put the phone in, that virtual reality goggles.
Yeah, the goggles.
And he's like bending over trying to kiss her and
See, and again, I say,
he's closer to the Philippines than we are.
Right.
Yes. I love this character. Yeah, why marry well, you know why? It's cheaper. He doesn't have to feed her. But then again, she doesn't clean the house. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's drawbacks and there's pluses and minuses for every kind of relationship, I guess. I love this character. Not a machine, said Sal. When asked about whether he loved an electronic device, I understand 100% that this is a game. I understand very well that I cannot marry her physically or legally. The courtship began in September when he started playing the game, in which players nurture a deeper relationship through gameplay. Sal started carrying Nene around in the streets of Tokyo and taking her to Disneyland and to the beach resort in Guam. This Sal is one sick son of a bitch, to be quite honest with you.
I think the whole world's friggin' sick because there's people that do this. I mean, you know.
He says that she's better than a human girlfriend. She doesn't get angry. If I'm late in replying to her, well, she gets angry, but she forgives quickly. Asked if he's...
So, in other words, he's tuning her out just like a real woman. Like she's...
She just turns the volume down.
He does the puppet, and then a couple hours later, he texts her back, and then she gets mad at him.
Mm-hmm. Rightfully so. I mean...
See, that's what artificial intelligence needs. If we do this whole sex robot thing, all a woman has to do, you know, a woman who programs is program like a ball-busting subroutine, and that's it. The whole thing's out of the water.
But they won't do that. There's nobody that's going to want to sell these things that's going to do that. They're taking
but somebody will hack them. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you see, so someone finds their thing and
you come home for the sex robot, all of a sudden it starts breaking your fucking chops.
Yeah,
go
cut
out
the grass. Do this.
Oh,
don't do
it's
that.
All over.
Can't you read the signs?
And
that's not right.
Then somebody will be arguing for the rights of robotic women to break your balls.
I'll fix him. We'll put a little program. We'll put the ball-busting program in there. Hold on.
I had no idea that Herb was a hacker.
Yes. Well, when I left the tobacco industry, I decided to try and take up computer programming. It's been quite lucrative. Okay, a little bit there. There. Now, she's a ball buster.
She's a ball buster.
She's a ball buster.
Yeah.
So we're 2 for 2.
Getting a lot of mileage out of that song.
I'm a ball buster. You could do it for everything.
Yeah.
He's a ball buster. I'm a porn watcher.
A Texas teenager died Sunday after being electrocuted by her cell phone while in the bathtub. Madison, I'm going to say it's C-O-E, was in the tub when she either plugged her phone in or picked it up after it was already plugged in, her family said. There was a burn mark on her hand, the hand that would have grabbed the phone. Madison lived in Lubbock, Texas, though she died while visiting her father in New Mexico. Her family said they're hoping the tragedy will help other families. This is such a tragedy that doesn't need to happen to anyone else, and we want something good to come out of this as awareness of not using your cell phone in the bathroom as it is plugged in and charging. Now, see, this is
common sense.
Yeah, for years we all knew as kids not to play with electrical devices in or around water, and now they got that warning on like everything, like the hair dryer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, who's in the shower and like, honey, I'm done rinsing my hair. Toss me that hair dryer.
Hey, listen, I'm multitasking to get the shower going.
Yeah, it's just like it's crazy.
Well, I think they, like you said before, they should stop putting warning labels.
Yeah, because we're being overrun by the stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
it doesn't matter. Look, you got labels all over everything. Like, here's the girl. Someone's in the shower, and they decide to multitask because they got to get out. The boyfriend's complaining because you take too long. All right, listen, I'll dry my hair while I'm taking a shower. That's the end of her.
Honey?
That's okay. I was going to marry a cartoon character in a week anyhow. I was dumping her for a cartoon character. You don't...
You know, it's very sad. Not that, like, this kid's dead and everything.
Yeah, she's 14 years old,
Yeah.
and it's a sin. But, I mean, these kids, they don't realize that, you know... And
What are they? Did they stop teaching this in school?
I guess.
Common sense?
Yeah.
It must.
Are the parents didn't dawn on the parents not to do? Because, like, you know,
Well, the kids, they can't. The phones are constantly attached. Like, if the beep goes off, if someone texts them, they got to immediately pick up the phone.
like a Pavlovian dog.
They hear that
Yeah,
that
right.
sound, you know, that tells them there's a text there, and then she goes for the phone. She's in the tub. That's it. It's
You know what
over.
they're teaching them? They're teaching them to take my money out of the change dispenser. That's what they're friggin'
Right.
doing.
That's what should happen. When the kid goes to touch the change dispenser,
Yeah, there you go.
there you go. That'll be the end of that. He'll do that one time and one time only. I'll tell you, when I was a kid, I probably told this story before, about 3 years old, maybe 4. My sister, she still couldn't walk. And I remember this. So at 3 years old, I have this memory in my head.
Mm-hmm.
There's, women used to put bobby pins in their hair all the time. I found one on the floor. I opened it up a little bit. I walked over to the outlet. I went over to put it in. My mom saw me. She went, no! And I tried to put it in there, and she grabbed me while she was holding my sister. All 3 of us got it.
So
And I had a big black mark up my arm from where...
No, no kidding.
Did you get superpowers?
No, I didn't. But I'll tell you what. You know what I got? You know what I got?
A beating.
A fear of electricity.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And a
I was
beating.
afraid.
An aversion.
I was afraid of electricity all the way up until the time I became an elevator mechanic.
Genghis had a real aversion of electricity.
Yeah.
So much so, it's kind of a dick thing to do, but he was on the ladder in the store, and the fluorescent bulb ballast had burned out. So, I mean, he wasn't changing the bulb. He was putting a new ballast in.
Right.
So I thought it would be, like, funny to grab his leg and go,
What the hell is wrong with you?
he went like, like he screamed.
That and the gunshot, you know.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
This jackass, we're in a pizza shop. My dad, he comes walking in to hang out. He gets a paper bag and blows it up. My father's like making a pizza. Comes up behind my father and goes, my dad, Jesus Christ, what the hell's the matter with you? I thought my goddamn gun was going on.
Joe was watching from. I was just like absentmindedly blowing this bag up. He was like watching, knowing what was going to happen. Like,
yeah, I just had to watch.
And we wonder why we got
the drama unfold.
Wonder why we got our ass kicked, right? Because that's exactly what happened. As soon as you did something like that, you got a smack.
Oh,
yeah. And I didn't. But the paper bag, like, yeah, I did want to fuck with him with the electricity thing. But the paper bag, I was just
he wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, I was
just
kind of.
It wasn't like he was like trying to scare my dad. He was just doing it.
That was just a happy bonus.
Jesus Christ!
I thought a goddamn gun was going off. Like what? It's just a gun arbitrarily lying around.
One time we were working. It was like 2 degrees out. It was super cold out. The door opens and here comes a kid wearing a ski mask over his face. My father, yeah, here we go.
This is it.
So the kid comes up. Here was just a kid who was cold. He was wearing a ski mask.
He just came in to order like a slice of pizza.
My dad, he grabs a pizza peel. He's ready to attack. Goes, hey, look, buddy, you can't do that. You can't walk in. You can't walk into a store with a ski mask.
Yeah, you need to take that off before you.
Right.
You almost got hit with the pizza. What's the thing called again?
Pizza peel. And the one my father had was like a battle axe. I mean, it had a long handle on it. Oh yeah, I would go after people with it.
One time we were at the break room at work, and guy that I worked. Yeah, I used to work at a pizzeria, and and then we got the big giant pizza spatula. That you jackass, that's a pizza peel. It looks like a fucking spatula. No, it doesn't. It's like it's a peel.
Well, again, now I have to call my daughters and say to them, hey, listen, you realize that you can't take and have your phone while you're in the bathtub, right? You guys know that?
You know that.
Like, I don't have to, I feel like I have to call
I don't have to explain that to you.
Do I have to explain that to you? I don't want that to happen to my kids.
Well, I can only hope. I mean, it's that it was fast and that she didn't really suffer.
Well, I don't think I don't know.
Who knows?
She wasn't the first person to be killed while charging her phone in a tub. Richard Bull, 32 of London, died in March after his iPhone charger came in contact with water while he was in the tub.
Do you need
my phone is nowhere near me in the bathroom.
I don't even have the phone in the bedroom.
Well,
there it is.
Can't leave that fucker alone for 5 minutes, can you?
Not really. To be honest with you, what I do is when I get up and take a shower, that's when I listen to podcasts.
Monday, you got it hooked up to a speaker?
No, I have it sitting up on a. I have.
Again.
This isn't really bullying. I'm not telling anybody else to do this.
Yes, but I could see you in the shower as Techno Bully doing this.
So what I do is I have 3 rolls of toilet paper all propped up, and I have the phone sitting with the speakers pointing towards the shower. And I have
the shower's not that loud.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Man, my shower's like a Niagara Falls.
Yeah, my shower's pretty loud.
I can't hear shit.
Right. I'm not saying I can hear
Somebody
it.
Could be looting the house, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying like I can hear it like I can when I'm out of there, but I can basically make it out.
No, I don't bring anything in the bathroom except me.
Okay. Yeah.
And my towel.
I understand. So we got to pour one out for Richard Bull, 32 of London.
We haven't poured one out for anybody in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and they're dropping like flies.
And Madison Cole, 14. That's a sin. Really is a sin.
Yeah,
But, Godspeed.
It's just all these like people that do, really silly things.
You say it all the time. It's, it's cleansing the gene pool.
The gene pool's cleansing itself.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
All right, speaking of stupid shit, a 20-year-old man in Kimona City, wherever in Japan, was arrested after he allegedly injured one of his acquaintances while shooting compressed air into the man's anus.
Oh, that must have felt good.
About 12:30 a.m., July the 1st, the suspect assaulted one of the guests.
Where did this happen?
I think it's in Japan.
Kyoto, yeah.
Oh, watch this. I shoot air up his ass. How you like that? How you like that imitation, Luke? Oh, I shoot up air his arse.
That was funny because he did the same. He did the imitation you didn't do.
Yeah.
But we suck.
I forgot about that.
Okay. So what was the story behind this guy? Why would you stick an ear?
Oh, it was just good, clean fun.
Yeah, you just ass grabbing.
His ass was hanging out.
Right.
It looked like something
That
needed
guy
to be.
had his ass out. Let me stick
Looked
this
like
hair.
something needed something gently nudged into his dark orifice there.
Let me put this hair hose.
We're out of gerbils.
Yeah, one thing led to another. The gerbil wasn't shaved down yet.
Yeah, they were hanging around, grab assing, and well, one thing
Listen.
led to another, and an air hose went up his ass.
And
An air duster gun is what it was called.
Oh,
Against the seat of the man's pants and shooting compressed air into his anus.
now,
oh God.
I don't know if you've ever had this. When we used to water ski,
Oh, wow.
What?
It teared his rectum. The suspect's action is
Yeah.
thought to have caused numerous tears in the victim's rectum, which resulted in the victim complaining of pain in his abdomen and vomiting before being taken to the hospital.
of course, we have to say,
Wow.
rectum damn near killed him. Police arrested the suspect on charges of assault. The suspect admitted to the charges, telling the police it was a prank.
It was all good, clean fun.
Oh, the Wilhelm screaming.
Back to the
Oh,
goat
boy.
thing again. There was something that I didn't notice in the first time we played that. Sounds like he's vaping. Who is that? Okay.
Screaming.
Oh, boy. Okay. Roger's wife, Pat, asks, why does get the comfy chair?
Because I rock.
Because he was here first, to be quite honest with you.
I just-
now I got to buy Joe a chair?
Yeah.
Jesus. Who is this?
It's my buddy Raj, his wife, Pat.
Pat, mind your own damn business, okay? You're going to cost me money because I got to go buy him a chair.
Pat, tell him I need a chair.
He
Tell him
doesn't need a chair.
Pat, tell him it's inhumane not to let me have a chair.
You need to get here before 7:28.
Oh, Rocky wants me to get into the net neutrality.
Don't start that shit now.
Rocky, you're a troublemaker. Here's the thing. Since I'm going to talk about net neutrality now.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what I say. I'll never convince Jerry, Deuce, or Joe.
You don't want to be convinced.
I know. I don't want to be convinced.
No.
They don't want to be convinced. They think that this is a great idea. I think it's the worst idea ever.
Well, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're going to say something, say it. Get
First
froggy.
of all,
Jump.
it's not that I like Comcast. I always have to add this disclaimer.
What do we call?
It's not about It's not about.
What do we
me.
call Comcast?
What do we call them?
Yeah, what do we call them?
The evil empire. That's
The evil empire.
Well, yeah, what they're
Okay.
doing is wrong. What they're doing in Netflix and what they're doing with throttling, that is wrong.
Okay.
But you can remedy
Oh.
that by making it illegal to do what they're doing. You
exactly.
They're not.
But
They're not
taking-
restricting them.
What's that?
They're not restricting anything.
Who? What, Comcast?
They can't right now. It's against the law.
At one time, they were throttling Netflix.
The net neutrality. What you were talking about. How does this affect you? What's going on?
It doesn't
here?
affect me now at all because it's the same. God damn you, Rocky.
You know that this was never implemented, so they repealed nothing. Nothing.
Well, first
will
of all,
change.
the thing is that you're going to give a corporation that's known for shoving it up the ass of the consumers more power to turn off and turn on what they want, what they don't want.
But they haven't done that.
What if all of a sudden, something? This is my hope. I hope the FCC passes this, okay? And I hope Comcast is a liberal company.
I'm sure they
And
are.
their liberal management takes and slows down and stops and blocks all the conservative narrative on the internet. Because then, will that be fun to listen to?
It's about censorship. It's about control. It's not about net neutrality. That's what it's all about. And that's what you're the biggest screamer about free speech and everything.
Yes.
And this is going to affect you if the rule is enacted. And thank God it's not going to be enacted.
I don't think so. What do you mean?
Not.
First of all, how are they going to? They should stay out of it. They should stay the hell out of it.
What they so-called repealed was never enacted. It never went into effect.
Why are they okay? So you riddle me this, Batman. Why is Comcast and Verizon and these other guys lobbying so hard to have this repealed? Why?
Because they want to make money.
Who's going to pay for this?
The consumer always pays for it.
Jackass pays.
Who's going to take it up the ass?
Jackass.
Consumers, I know you hate to believe this, not consumers. Companies and corporations are people too.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
They're nameless, faceless soldiers that go in and march because they're. Trust me.
How did they start?
I work for one of these nameless, faceless corporations.
So do I.
They're repealed. This was never even enacted. The present chairman of the FCC said, we're not going to do this.
A jit.
The Senate. So, okay, so you want to go with an ad hominem attack. Suppose you were in India and they said, how can you go with this guy? His name is John.
Right.
So that means you don't know what you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
I don't like the guy. His name's a jit.
Okay.
All right.
No. That's a real good foundation for a debate.
I don't. You tell me.
The FCC enacted the new privacy rules. The FTC opposed them as unnecessary. When the FTC says new rules would hurt consumers and weaken consumer protections, those rules should be seriously questioned. Without the FCC privacy rules that have been in effect for 20 years, the FTC remains active in protecting consumer privacy on the internet. These rules that were so-called repealed were never put in place. They're just not going to put them in place at all. So nothing's going to change. So heretofore, you didn't even know that, did you?
You just told me. That they want to do this so they can make more money.
Right. What's wrong with making money?
Who's going to get shoved? Who's going to get shoved?
Who
up their
goes
ass?
into business to break even? Did you go into business to break even?
How much money you want to get? How much money can you make?
For
the love of God, how much money can you make?
Okay.
But so who are you to determine who can make what?
They're going to make the internet where not everybody can get into the internet.
That's not true.
How do you know that? You don't know that.
Because it hasn't happened.
Well, I'll tell you something. You're all about salami legislation until this shit turns around and it's against your
let me tell you. Okay, let me chime in here.
I'm done.
Why are you done now? Because you laid that salami legislation on me last week because what could happen.
Because all you're going to do is yell at me and you're going to turn my mic off.
I didn't turn your mic off.
Because you have a short attention span.
I have a
short attention, and that's why this doesn't happen. So I'm fucking done.
All right, well.
You guys have fun.
Let's look at this from another angle here.
Yeah, because, because last week, that's the stupidest fucking thing I ever heard you say.
It's true.
It's great to come on here and be insulted. So great. Fucking insult me. Go ahead.
You can insult me. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
Yeah, because you don't want to listen.
Because you don't want to fucking
listening. Fuck yourself. You don't want to listen.
I was listening.
I'm done.
See, now he's done.
Let me
see what you did, Rocky.
Look, let me try to let me kind of.
That was a setup if I ever saw one.
It says it right here. You were screaming it. Joe.
Go ahead. Have fun.
Hey. Okay,
you did say it in there.
Okay, look at this from another way.
Okay.
Comcast is scared shitless of a company like Netflix. You know why? Because all Netflix needs is a delivery system.
Exactly.
That's all they need. Okay.
It's happening now.
All right.
They're scrambling because
what this indicates is innovation will prevail over any tyranny imposed by Comcast and Verizon. All you have to do is get, unless
you take and give somebody like Comcast the ability to limit the product that Netflix, Hulu, YouTube Red, YouTube TV,
I have one
Sling
word.
TV, all them, if they don't have a delivery system to put out their product, then Comcast can charge you $100 a month.
I have one word that debunks
900 channels that you can't even watch.
I have one word that'll debunk all that.
What's that?
Railroads.
What the fuck does railroads... Okay, what does railroads have to do with this?
The 1800s, you couldn't touch the railroads. They were the prime source of continental transportation. Oh, you could. You're never going to do away with the railroads. They have a monopoly. They're unstoppable. Guess what happened? By the Depression, railroads were going under left and right in this country. They had to have the Fed prop them up on every level. You can't. Time and innovation is the biggest enemy for any monopoly. That, and you can't have a monopoly. It's just not going to happen.
Why
right?
can't you have a monopoly?
Because antitrust laws. Because you're
Go ahead.
At some point, you're going to have a new type of technology that's going to override, just like the car did away with the railroads. It's going to happen, John.
Okay.
Netflix. Look at it this way. Let's say Comcast is a supermarket, and you go to the supermarket, and you say, "Okay, I need milk, bread, and eggs," and the cashier says, "Well, in order to get the milk, bread, and eggs, you also have to buy lettuce, sugar, salt, and pepper." Well, I don't need all that. Yes, but it's a bundle. This is how we're giving it to you. And then down the street, Netflix opens up a store and say, "Hey, not only will we sell you the milk, bread, and eggs, we'll sell you bread by the slice, eggs by the singles, and milk by the pint." What do you think of that? You're going to say, "Well, fuck yeah, sign me up for that. You're only giving me what I want."
But they don't do that.
All that you have to do is
they all
deliver.
do the same thing.
Well, once you get the means of delivery, then it all comes around. And that's what these net neutrality people, they're turning. See, the thing that pisses me off about the government is they're trying to package this as a First Amendment issue. How the fuck do they get that? I don't know, but that's what they're trying to do.
I just told you. If they turn, because I'll tell you what, all day long, I was watching Twitter and everything. All day long, all Comcast was saying is, they had this video up and it says, "We don't want to slow your speed down. We don't want to take and cut other people's internet access. We don't want to do any of that." Then I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, then put that in your terms of services. Put that in your terms of service, that you will not do that. You will not cut it down. Put that all in your terms of service.
Sure.
I don't give a fuck what you do.
I'm cool with that too. I'm not, it's like I said, I'm not about Comcast and Verizon. You've heard what I had to say about them.
Exactly.
They need
So
more,
we're going to turn this over to them.
Right. No, we're not turning it over to them. We're giving anybody a chance to get in there and have.
But they're already dug in like a tick on a long-haired hound.
Doesn't matter. They can be thwarted. Everything changes. Nothing lasts forever, as the old song goes.
Again, you're not going to change my mind.
Right.
I'm not going to change your mind.
Right. Now,
so that's why I didn't want to
just for the record, by the way, this is Facebook arguing. This is not a structured debate.
Right.
In Facebook arguing, the whole trick is I'm right, you're wrong, and it goes on forever. Now, he's been strangely quiet, and I can see he's looking at something.
He's all tired, and I got him mad.
What's the point?
I got him mad. It's the first time he's been mad at me since the whole year of this show. It's the first time I ever got him mad at me. He's tired. I can understand that.
We got a lot of people listening to this argument here.
I'm sure we do.
Everybody's joining.
I was having a perfectly good time talking about a Japanese guy shooting air up another guy's ass. We're all laughing and kidding around.
It's Rocky Suits. It's his fault.
Rocky derailed the show, Rocky.
He's probably sitting there going, you know.
Right. See what happens? Not fun.
Okay. Well, why don't we move on to the next story so we can.
All right. Which one?
Let me read a story for a change.
Sure. I would love that. Which one do you want to do?
Let me see.
Mexican woman found dangling from border fence?
Let me try. Man gets penis stuck in wrench for 17 hours. Wow. They even got a picture of the guy. Holy shit.
There we go.
All right. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this, but it looks like something Asian. Okay. So it's a Zhejiang man arrived at a hospital late one night last week with his swollen penis stuck inside a wrench, leaving both doctors and firefighters at a loss for what to do. Fortunately, dentists knew just the thing to free his manhood. The 37-year-old man was brought into the hospital in Linhai City at 9:30 p.m. on June 2nd with his penis turning purple after being trapped inside the wrench for over 15 hours.
I mean, how long do you walk around with that thing on? Like, what do you do?
Before you realize you got a problem, right?
He's basically got like a metric cock ring on with a handle.
Yeah. Immediately, the hospital convened an emergency.
Look at all the people in the room.
I know. Look at that. There's for our listeners, there's a picture of about a dozen or so people standing around this guy.
And other guys in the background, they're all on their phones.
And there's apparently the military's there because they got guys in camo with holsters. And immediately the hospital convened an emergency meeting among specialists to figure out a suitable plan of action. doctors decided that in order to release the wrench from the man's penis, they would have to cut off blood flow to his genitals through surgery. In order to carry out the operation, doctors needed the permission of the man's family. Why? Okay, anyway.
Well, is he underage?
I guess. They made
he's a 37-year-old man.
Yeah, he's 37.
Why would he need to? I'll be like, get that off of me.
They made multiple calls to the man's parents who said that they would come in to sign over their consent, but never showed. Wow, they must really love this kid. So doctors went on to Plan B and reached out to the local firefighting squad, who are typically so adept at dealing with this sort of thing. However, I didn't know they were adept at removing wrenches from people's cocks. But, however, after closely inspecting the situation, the firefighters were also at a loss as to how to remove the wrench without seriously injuring the man. I think he was already seriously injured at that point.
Well, I don't know about that, but here's the thing. You can't cut it off.
Yeah.
And you can't use like a saw or anything because it'll heat it up and burn the guy.
Right. Luckily, it was at this point that one doctor suggested that they call in some dentists, explaining that earlier that afternoon, she had listened to a lecture regarding a similar case. What the hell are they doing in China? Two dentists showed up and
They're
went to
marrying
work.
cartoon characters.
I guess. Not how it's Japan. Two dentists showed up and went to work with a dental drill that spins extremely fast but uses water to keep itself cool, preventing the man's genitals from getting burned. Following a delicate 30-minute operation, the dentist successfully cut through the wrench and freed the poor guy's manhood after it had been trapped for some 17 hours in total.
Okay. You want to know what the size of the wrench was he got stuck in? It was either a 12 millimeter or 14 millimeter.
Yeah, they were 12 millimeter.
Which is, I think that's like a 9/6, either a
5/8 or so.
9/16 and 5/8.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
that's actually a little more than half an inch.
I mean, if you come in, with your cock stuck in a 27 millimeter wrench, you could walk in boldly with your hands on your hips, right? But when you got it stuck in a 12 millimeter wrench,
right? No, 12 millimeter. He must have a pretty small cock because 12 millimeters is only half an inch, slightly over half an inch,
right? So it's
He is Asian.
Last year, Chinese firefighters successfully rescued one man's penis from a steel trap. Whoa! Another man's penis from a ring, and yet another man's balls from being stuck between two magnets. But it appears as though they finally met their match with this case.
Stuck between
Holy
two
shit.
magnets.
What the hell are they doing in China? I thought we were fucked up.
No wonder the terrorists want to kill them.
No wonder, as I always say, no wonder the terrorists want to bomb the shit out of us.
Oh, Adam from
I don't know.
Everybody Has a Podcast.
I'm going to take a stab at his last name because I'm not good. It looks French. Boutelier?
Yes, he's Adam from Everybody Has a Podcast.
Oh, and my friend Daryl has decided to visit us tonight. She says nothing like polishing my nails and being highly entertained.
There you go. That's quite a Friday
show,
night.
Daryl. Yeah. This is what we do now.
All right. Next story. Got one more in us. Deuce, you want to do this one?
No.
He's on a sign. Okay.
Deuce wants to get out of here. Deuce is done. Deuce has had enough. All right.
I guess it's in your court, John.
All right, let's do this. We'll do this one last one. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, a woman was saved by technology after an Amazon device called police when a woman's boyfriend attacked her. Criminal complaint states a 20-year-old Geraldo Barris and his girlfriend were house sitting when the woman got a text.
There we go.
He got a text she got a text message reportedly angering the boyfriend, who accused her of cheating on him. Barris then allegedly kicked his girlfriend before getting a gun and threatening to kill her, and asking her, "Did you call the sheriffs?" The sheriff's office claims the smart home device heard Barris's interpretation of "call the sheriffs" and then went on to call the authorities. Deputies responded and later arrested Barris after a SWAT situation.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is unknown if the device was an Amazon Echo or an Echo Dot. However, the device was connected to a landline.
Oh.
See?
There you go. There's my argument.
And according to the New York Post, Barris faces charges of possession of a firearm, aggravated battery, and false imprisonment. He going to jail.
Yeah. Oh, good for Alexis.
There you go. See?
And God bless those landlines.
And people say all the time, why would you have this in your house? It's constantly listening. Because if I just say, "Hey, Siri," my phone lights up.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, yeah. She's
So
paying attention.
it's constantly listening. So it's listening to everything you say. And I think there's even been court cases where they have been able to listen. That's okay, Siri. I don't need you anymore. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep, baby. It's okay.
Yeah, she's okay. Yeah, she went back
me?
to sleep. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, she went back to sleep. So anyhow. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess in a way you could say, like, if something happened like that, you could yell, call 911. I was thinking of getting one, and I'm trying to figure out why I need one. What would I do with it?
Right.
Am I going to play? You can play podcasts on it.
Yeah,
the only thing
hey.
I use Siri for is spelling. Siri, how do you spell this? Siri, how do you spell that?
Suckle daddy's sugar ball.
Deuce has turned into Fred Norris from the Howard Stern Show. He says nothing, but plays a hell of a sound effect. All right. Now that we've brought this show to a screeching halt, what do you say we get out of here?
Okay.
All right. I want to tell you about it. Listen, if you like the show and you want to tell people about it, we are also over at Radio Vegas Rocks. We are there Monday mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific. And we're also Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And this was our first week on the Slings, Flings, and Dingalings network. We are on there at Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. And also we are on the Hush Your Face network along with a bunch of other shows. So check out those networks and give them a listen. All right, podcast shout-outs. Now, I've kind of changed them up a little bit, guys.
Okay.
Oh, I see that.
All right. Are we doing one for one? Is that how we're going to do it?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead, Deuce.
If you are looking for some other great podcasts to check out, we highly recommend these podcasts. 3 is Comedy with Jason, Bob, and Mindy, part of the Hush Your Face network.
Bad Cop with Jerry and Dave.
Who's Right with Doug and Anthony, part of the Hush Your Face network.
The Pet and Miller Show with Matt Miller and Viva La Pedros, also part of the Hush Your Face network.
I was on episode 21. It's out now.
Hmm.
So go check it out.
Go listen to John. Bold and Belligerent with Lauren, Josh, Mike, and Luke.
The Unwritable Rant with Juliet Miranda and Dave, the producer, because we're no longer allowed to say David Miranda. Jerry has thrown down the gauntlet. He named him. He's the only one allowed to use that name. So now we got to go back to Dave, the producer.
The Rob and Slim Show with Rob and Slim and Slambo and Amanda, also part of the Hush Your Face network, and hope to see him on Twitter soon.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you one thing about Amanda. She's a scrappy little girl. I mean, she can really hang with those guys. I mean, they're very strong male personas, and she doesn't back down. She hangs right in there with those guys.
Ice in the Face with Sarah and Rick.
I'll tell you what, they've been hitting stride. Their last couple shows have been hysterical. I mean, laugh out loud funny. Not that they haven't been good before, but I mean, especially funny these past 2 episodes. And the Horribly Awkward podcast with Sean Fuller, part of the Hush Your Face network.
Now That I'm Older with Shane and Kenny.
Toe on the Trigger with Daniel and Nicole and Courtney 3000.
And The Story Behind with Emily Prokop.
The Nerdwells podcast with Eric, Sam, and Chris, also part of the Hush Your Face network.
The Horrible Gamers with Jesus, Ryan.
I think it's Jesus.
Jesus, Ryan. Yeah, I know. I'm just being facetious. With Jesus, Ryan, Eric, and Gunny, also part of the Hush Your Face network.
Now, here's the thing. Remember how I didn't have their names? I went back and tried to find their names on their. You can't find their names. They're always they always put down the THG crew, the Horrible Gamers crew. They never. So I had to go back and try to pull all their names. So if they're wrong, guys, I don't know what to tell you, because it's not that I don't think that they have a good show or anything like that. I'm not a gamer, and it's just not my cup of tea. But they have a good sound quality. They seem like they have a lot of fun. So if you're into gaming, head over and check them out.
I'm half a gamer anyway.
Well, listen, if I was a gamer, I would be a horrible gamer.
Yeah, I like the older games, so they probably think I'm a fuddy-duddy in that respect also.
We're fuddy-duddy.
Yeah.
Epic Film Guys with Nick and Justin.
Everyone Has a Podcast with Adam and Brian.
And the Naked Porch podcast with Ray, Danielle, and Chris.
All right, there we go. Another great episode.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be fireworks after that.
No, it's not. Listen, are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I don't. I'm fine.
You know
What,
it
you get
means?
mad because I do things for comedy over here? You know I respect you. You know that I don't think. Well, sometimes you say stuff, and I do it for more for comedy than anything else. Okay. All right. Boy, it's horribly awkward in here right now.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, I'll tell you what. Catch us next week. Deuce will have a little bit more sleep, a couple beers with him.
That's what's wrong. He didn't have beer, and
Didn't have his beer. He's tired.
And
Man's
he's tired.
And I'm up 19 fucking hours.
That's right.
Not allowed to
That's
fucking
right.
talk. So.
Right? You were allowed to talk. You never stopped
we're
talking.
done. Well, we're done.
He's not allowed to talk now.
Can I make a plug real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I'm leaving. After I go here, I'm going to the library too tonight. That's my hangout. It's a very nice restaurant, and my band of Blitz is playing. So come on out and join me with a drink.
Where is this band at? Or where is the Library 2?
Library 2 is on Route 73 in Voorhees, New Jersey.
There you go.
Are we getting paid for this plug?
No, but I just want to see my peeps out there.
I can pay for anything. We don't get paid for we don't get paid for anything.
We don't get paid.
We do this as a labor of love.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Come on back next week. Deuce is taking his headphones off already.
That's it. It's over.
It's over.
Okay, have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.
Will you shut the fuck up so I can end the recording?
That's it. We're just getting into it.